It's saying, what are the things that matter? Okay, we can measure these things, and we know that GMP is too narrow a definition of what matters, but let's put something in about mental health. Let's put something in about longevity of life. And so, one big centre at University of London, the Centre for Wider Benefits of Learning, has been doing this work. Look at all the benefits that education and training bring. They reduce smoking levels, they increase democracy, they reduce stress, they reduce mental health. It does all these things. And so this research is about kind of operationalising all the things that vocational education training might do, and then, of course, going in and seeing what evidence can you find. So work in Australia, an apprenticeship brings these mental health benefits. That's not the kind of work that particularly is interesting to me, but clearly it's very powerful for policymakers. Look, you can have these things. So the OECD have brought out an index which has 11 elements, which I reference in the paper, of the Better Life Index. So you can go in and look at different countries, and you can do weightings. You can say, well, actually, I think mental health's more important than economic sustainability or whatever. So you can play with the weightings, and the countries will move in the rankings. So, while away a happy hour. And then you'll have well-being, so that'll be good at the end of it. Or maybe not, depending on how your mind works. So it's an attempt to try and say it's about more than economic, but still quite top-down. And the third bit I want to get into is taking that word flourishing, which was in the slide that I took from Melanie and Monica's work, and explore this a bit further. So there's been a rise of work in the last couple of years that's wanted to go beyond well-being and capabilities and go back to human flourishing. And sometimes it actually refuses to use an English terminology at all and goes back to Aristotle and talks about eudaimonia, because the argument being that none of these translations quite work. So it's trying to go back to this and say, well, what is the ultimate purpose? What are people actually bothered about? What would make a life that we see as flourishing? And I think that Aristotelian tradition, which clearly Nussbaum draws upon in the capabilities, is very open-ended. But it's intended to be practical in that you only get